Yay, blood! Hey guys, today I'll be showing you turn 1 of the Binding Coil of Bahamut. This includes boss reviews for ADS and Caduceus bosses. ADS is the first boss you'll encounter. Typical strategy here is one tank by the block barrier, healers and ranged standing middle, preferably by the small outcrop of crystal, and main tank with melee on the boss itself. ADS has 3 moves that are noteworthy: repelling cannons, which deals 10 yards point blank AoE damage, piercing laser, which is a straight line AoE and will target anyone at random, and high voltage. High voltage must be interrupted as it causes raid-wise damage and paralyze that lasts 30 seconds and cannot be dispelled. Your off-tank will be responsible for picking up smaller drone adds that spawn near the entry point barrier. These can give buffs to the ADS if they get too close to him, so it's important not to let that happen. When adds spawn, DPS must swap over to kill it while maintaining interrupts on ADS itself to prevent high voltage. Caduceus is your simple, boss hits hard and has a removable buff, and oh shit, this thing splits into two snakes fight. First, let me note that this boss hits pretty hard on a full dark lighted tank. It can also one-shot both people standing behind it and people who get in front of it using cleave and tail swipe mechanics. Now that that's out of the way, you'll notice the floor is sectioned off tiles. These tiles occasionally pulse blue. After a few seconds, anyone standing on a lit up section will spawn a dark matter slime. The slimes have one purpose, and that's to remove a buff on Caduceus called Steel Scales, or something to that effect. This greatly increases the boss's attack power, so it's important to have a DPS bring one slime to him and run horizontally through him with said slime. When this happens, Caduceus eats the slime, restores a little bit of his own health, and drops the buff. Caduceus can also cast Regorge, which targets a player and hits him with a poison AoE that lingers for about 20 seconds. At around 75%, Caduceus will split in two, and your off-tank will need to pick up the split and drag him away from your melee. We found it easiest to keep the main tank in one spot and the off-tank to the east side platform. Be sure to keep one healer on each tank. At this point, we split our DPS so that both adds die together to some degree. We also completely abandoned the spawning of dark matter slimes.